Hi there. Well, welcome. I'm sorry, I've got to apologize. We're late. We just got out of the pastor's prayer meeting, so we're a little bit late. Thank you, and thank you for watching. You've come to the most excellent questions. Again, let me explain it a little bit. Then we're going to go on with today's answer. So, uh, this this week's question is, who is God and what is God? And it's important. Actually, I think this is one of the most important questions that we can ask because all of us, whether you're a Christian, not a Christian, it doesn't matter what you believe. But I said something the other day that's very important. Every human being knows there is a God. Now they may not admit it, or they may not, but but again, they they in their time of need, that's they call out, God help me. So there's something in us, which is, I could go into it, but we don't have time. Let me let me get into this now. Like I always say, I read it because it's so much easier. Otherwise, if I get off of it, then it tends to go more than 10 minutes, and our goal is to stay about 10 minutes. Okay. So the question this week is, who is God and what is God? Now, the answers I give you are my answers. I want to hear yours. So if you have a comment or a question or an answer, please let us know. Okay? God bless. Uh, Let me start with this. Adam said, Adam said, God took a rib from Adam, and he made a woman, and he says, Adam said this, finally, here's someone of my own kind, bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. Now her name is Eve, which means woman, because she was taken out of me. The man and the woman were both naked, but they were innocent and not embarrassed. Okay? Now, in the garden, there was a very, very crafty individual, more crafty than any other animal that God had made. It's called the serpent. But let's call this individual serpent, let's call him carnal knowledge, okay? Or logic. How about if we just call him carnal logic? He said to Eve, did God really say not to eat from any tree? And the woman replied, from the fruit of the tree of the garden, all the trees of the garden we may eat, but from the tree that is in the center of the garden, God said, you shall not eat of it, or you will die. And the serpent said, you won't really die. God knows the day that you eat from it, your eyes will be open, and you and Adam will be like gods. You will know, now listen, know the difference between good and evil. So Eve went to look at the tree to see if the serpent's logic was right. I know that Christians would say, well, she was disobeying. Well, wait a minute. She went to see if the logic or what the serpent said was right. So she goes to the tree. And when she saw, listen to this, when she saw the tree was good for food, that it was beautiful and a delight to the eyes, and the tree would make one wise, she took from its fruit, and she ate, and she shared it with her husband, and their eyes were open, and they realized that they were naked. Now, we have two problems and another question here. The tree and now the serpent. So why did God place these two things in the garden? See, we have to ask questions because questions is what brings answers, okay? But God had also planted another tree in the garden, the tree of life. And it was also in the center of the garden, along with the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Now, please remember this. God said that all the trees you may eat, but what if God was just warning them to start with, right? And listen to me. I'm just throwing this out to you because I'm asking you questions. What if God said, put it a different way? What if God went to Adam and Eve and said, listen, I love you, and I want you to be free to decide. So let me warn you that the fruit of the tree is poison and causes death, so don't eat of it. Think about that. So they ate and saw they were naked, and they gathered fig leaves and covered themselves and hid. Remember that they met with God every afternoon. Okay, every day, every afternoon, they met with God. Now, that day, did God know that they had already eaten of the fruit? Sure he did. But you know what? He kept his appointment with Adam and Eve, and he walked with them that afternoon. Or he went to the appointment to walk with them. And we arrived at the appointment, at the place of their appointment. He didn't see Adam and Eve. So he called out to them, Adam, Eve, where are you? And we were hiding, was their reply. We're hiding. And why are you hiding, he said. Because we're naked. Then God replied, so who told you you're naked? Did you eat from the forbidden fruit? This entire discourse says much about man, about love, about carnal desire, carnal knowledge, temptation, about our freedom and our source of life and security. The story does not end there. God made for Adam and Eve garments of skin, and he clothed them, and he said, look, the man has become as God as one of us. Wow. To know God and evil. To know good and evil. What if he eats from the tree of life and lives forever as a God? There can only be one God in the garden. So God sent them out of the garden. But God did not leave them to fend for themselves. He did not take his love from them, nor did he change his plan for mankind. Listen to this. Eve conceived and bore her first child. And she said this, I have given birth to a man with the help of the Lord. Wow. So God was there when she gave birth to her first son. Why have I told you this story, and what has this to do with who and God is? Have I created more questions and curiosity than you can handle? This is our intent in this series that we call Excellent Questions. Maybe what is necessary is for us to go to the source itself and get answers. You see, you are the garden of life and the garden of God. He lives in you. All you need to do is walk with him in the cool of the day as innocent as lambs. Amen. I hope you tune in tomorrow, and I hope that this gives you more questions to ask and more answers than you want. But would you please tune in tomorrow at 1 o'clock? We will continue with this question until Friday. Okay, so please tune in tomorrow, and may God bless you. Have a wonderful day.